Hi, this is Kitty, and today I'm bringing you a pretty potted ivy plant with lots of flowers and a lovely matted frame. The first thing I'm going to show you is how I put the two frame layers together with mounting tape. And then I start working with my flowers. I'm forming the flowers with my small round stylus, and then I turn them over and I push down in the center of each one to form the flower, and I'm making some smaller flowers to be included inside the larger petals, and I glue them together with Glossy Accents. It's a little time consuming, but I always think it's worth it. The next thing I'm going to do is show you how I just apply the Glossy Accents to the ivy and put my flowers on. The Glossy Accents holds the flowers in place really well. And then I just take my leaf tool and form those ivy leaves a little bit. I have a vase here that I cut out twice so I could use one layer as the base, and then I cut the top and the bottom off and tried to pretty it up a little bit with a gold embossed layer. It really looks pretty on the card, but I end up covering it up quite a bit with the ivy and the flowers. The next thing I do is trim off the ends of the ivy on the first ones that I'm going to attach. The first one here I'm attaching to the front as a section of ivy that's hanging down over. And I continue adding the ivy pieces. The first row I trim the ends off as I get ready to attach them to the back of the frame. Then I apply the Glossy Accents and attach them and start building my ivy arrangement. I sped this up just a little bit so that you could see the actions I'm taking to create this, but at the same time I didn't want you to have to sit through the very, very slow process of me working through the arrangement. So I've added the front ivy hanging down. I'm adding now the front row of the ivy, and I'm attaching these directly to the back of the frame. I wanted this to be a really loose looking natural arrangement, and I thought the flowers and the ivy looked really pretty together. I know we don't normally see flowers growing on ivy, but in my world of imagination I like to see it. So the next branches I attach, I leave longer so that I can build up the height of the arrangement. And as you see me attach that, the first thing I did was try to kind of dry fit it before I applied the Glossy Accents, just to be sure that it was where I wanted that to go. And there I attached it equally well to the back of another ivy section in front of it. I use a generous amount of Glossy Accents because I want the stems to stay in place, and then I squeeze them really tight. You can see I'm squeezing with my thumbs. And the next thing I'm going to do is cut off one of those flowers to fill in a spot that I think looks kind of bare. And I just go ahead and tuck it right in, pushing down with my reverse tweezers. I'm going to cut that branch head off of the one where I just trimmed the flowers, and now I'm going to include that as another piece hanging down over the pot. And I push everything in with my my tweezers or my paper piercer. Next, don't have a heart attack, I'm attaching little white leftover circles into my flower centers. When I do projects where I cut eyelet dies and there's the little holes that come out, I actually save them. They're perfect to use for flower centers, for snowflakes, and I added these to each one of the flower centers, and I think it makes the flowers look pretty, and it's a nice break between the green and the purple to have that little white highlight. Now, the next thing I did was attach ATG adhesive to the back of the matted frame. And now I'm going to apply Glossy Accents to the back of the ivy, a generous amount because I want them to stay in place really well. And I've put a large piece of mounting tape to the back of the pot, and I'm going to tuck that in, and then I'm going to push down on the pot, and then I'm going to push in a few places where I put the Glossy Accents just to make sure that they hold. And there's a bare spot that I'm adding one more flower to make the arrangement look pretty. Oops, as you can see, it kind of stuck there. Now the last thing I did was I stamped a sentiment on a strip of cardstock, and I made sure that it matched the decorative frame and put it in place. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this video, and I hope it encourages you to try this kind of arrangement. Thank you.